Hey everybody, it is Goose. You're watching On With The Show. Thank you so much for coming back and watching the program today. And I had a show already set to go where we're going to talk about the Chapel Roan situation going on with with the bodyguard and the girl and in Sao Paulo and the whole thing and how it's just one giant mess there. But something happened on Friday that changed all those plans. And so that show will be tomorrow. As today, we will talk about Tiger Woods. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods and his latest DUI, his latest crash, and how eventually it's already becoming a problem. And right now, it looks like that there are going to people who probably are going to maybe approach him and say, Tiger, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be driving anymore. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to switch over to the OBS and we're going to get right into this show. So let me just give me a second. All right, so let's get into this. This is from ESPN, from Mark Schalbach. Hope I got that right. March 27th, this past weekend, Tiger Woods arrested at crash scene on suspicion of DUI, out on bail. It says here, 15-time major champion Tiger Woods was arrested on suspicion of DUI on Friday after he was involved in a car crash not far from his home on Jupiter Island in Florida, according to Martin County Sheriff John Bunasek. I hope I got that right. The sheriff said Woods was driving a Land Rover northbound on South Beach Road at a high speed when he attempted to pass a truck hauling a pressure cleaner, which had slowed to turn into a driveway. Woods' SUV swerved to avoid the truck, but clipped the back of the trailer. The Land Rover flipped on its side and slid down the road. Woods climbed out of the passenger's window to get out. Woods, 50, was arrested on suspicion of misdemeanor DUI with property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test. I'll explain that in a minute. He was arrived at jail at 3 p.m. and was released on bail later Friday, according to Christine Weiss, a spokesperson for the Martin County Sheriff's Office. Florida law requires that he spend at least 8 hours in jail before he could post bail. I'll explain that in a minute. It says here, Martin County Sheriff's Office DUI investigators on the scene determined that Woods had shown signs of impairment. They did several tests on him. Of course, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries he had. So it says right here, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries that he had. We did take that into account, but they did do some in-depth roadside tests. The investigators. The investigators arrested Woods and transported him to Martin County Jail. The sheriff's Woods breathalyzer test didn't show signs of alcohol. He blew triple zeros. He didn't have any alcohol. It was not alcohol. Woods refused to submit to a urinalysis test for other drugs. That is what got him arrested, pretty much. When he refused the urinalysis test, it's basically you're going to jail for 8 hours. At least it's Florida law. It says here he was cooperative but trying not to incriminate himself, so he was careful in what he said and didn't say. DUI investigators believed at the scene that Woods wasn't impaired by alcohol. Again, make sure that we all know that. But believed Woods had used a medication or drug, and that no medications or drugs were found in the SUV. It says here, the sheriffs didn't know how fast he was going, or didn't know how fast he's driving, but I can tell you this, it's a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit, and when you show the photos, they kind of speak for themselves. You can see where he clipped the back of the trailer, you can see where he rolled, and then he declares sliding down on the driver's side door of the vehicle, you can see he slid for a pretty decent space before he came to a stop. It says here, We do not believe having a conversation saying that there were no injuries. The president himself said he's a close friend of Woods, reacted to the news, telling reporters during a gaggle at Miami on Friday, "I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know." Very close friend of mine. Matter of fact, he's more than just a very good close friend of his. Let's go down here. He said in February of 2021, Woods suffered significant leg injuries in a one-car crash outside of Los Angeles, in which his SUV rolled several times and left him trapped inside. He later had surgery to deal with open fractures to his lower right leg. He had a rod placed in his tibia and had screws and pins inserted in his foot and ankle during emergency surgery. Woods was hospitalized for 3 weeks following the surgery. Woods had been traveling between 84 and 87 miles per hour in an area with a 45-mile-per-hour zone in Los Angeles. So he was driving rather fast. At the 2021 Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, Woods said, "I am lucky to be alive and also have a limb," because he could have lost that leg. He said it was 50-50 as to whether part of his right leg could have been amputated. It says here he had at least one more surgery related to injuries from a crash into April 2023. Woods had spent the past several months recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon. Now, I can tell you, I have Achilles strained. My right Achilles is strained, and when it's acting up, oh my gosh, it's painful. It's like I cannot imagine. Well, I can only imagine what it feels like to have it torn. But as it says here, he's recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon and another back surgery in October. He competed for the first time in more than a year during Tuesday's TGL finals, where his Jupiter Lynx GC team lost to the Los Angeles Golf Club. So it's more than the president knows Tiger more than just he's a good friend of mine. Let me show you why. Because Vanessa Trump has her hands full with boyfriend Tiger Woods. Yes, that Vanessa Trump. With Tiger Woods and family, source says, after golfer's DUI arrest. This was updated March 30th, which is today, by Bailey Richards and Linda Marks. And let's go down to basically say Vanessa Trump is happy with boyfriend Tiger Woods, though she has her hands full sometimes. A source tells People. This is from People magazine. Let me make sure I get that right. The former model, 48, and professional golfer, 50, have been dating over a year. They are happy together and have a solid relationship despite the pain Woods suffers. I'm going to highlight this. Despite the pain Woods suffers from injuries that led him to sit out of the sport for a year, multiple sources say. Vanessa and Tiger are in love. An insider tells People. In the wake of his March 27th DUI arrest and roller crash near Jupiter, she's very supportive of his golf endeavors because despite his age and injuries, golf dominates Tiger's life. There's a key there. They are good together as they both have great golf. They both have golf in their lives. Make sure I say this right. That propels the romance in a certain sense. Woods' career golf. His son Charlie Axel, 17, plays the sport. Woods also shares daughters Sam Alexis, 18, with ex-wife Ellen Norgardin. Meanwhile, Trump's daughters Kai, 18, Chloe, 11, also play golf. Vanessa shares the two along with sons Donald III, 17, Tristan, 14, Spencer, 13, with her ex-husband Donald Trump Jr. Woods, who underwent his seventh back surgery last fall. Seventh. His Achilles tendon and ruptured his Achilles tendon a year ago. can be difficult to be around. He can be difficult to be around sometimes because of the pain he experiences. This is a key. She has her hands full sometimes, but Vanessa also has a life of her own and children and to care for, and she isn't around all the time. She's happy. She's happy with him. Any issues they have are not about her. It's dealing with his frustrations about playing golf and his pain that sometimes is really confining. Woods returned to the green just 3 days ago after his DUI arrest. Last playing four full rounds of golf in 2024, April 20, at the Masters. The same source adds that should Woods play in the tournament last year, which is doubtful, Vanessa would support his decision. She does all she can, but some of it is out of her hands. It does go on to, Vanessa has settled right into their dating life due to the similarities in their current situations with kids. They are here. This is nice. They are an intense couple. A source says, it's serious, but Tiger has yet to look in the mirror and say, you're 50 years old and you need to act like it. Let me come down. This is his mugshot. Ugh. He looks tired. He looks tired. He looks, I don't want to say strung out. But he does look tired. He looks like he's just, and you can see, it's put right here. You can kind of see right around here, his eyes right here are bloodshot. It does say, Woods was involved in a roller crash in Jupiter, Florida. Goes over all the stuff that we already talked about. The sheriff said impaired by medication or other substance. He was previously charged DUI in 2017. I almost forgot about this. He was charged with DUI in 2017. Let me highlight this again. Sometimes I hate this. After being found asleep, he was found by police asleep in his car. He pleaded guilty to reckless driving, ultimately receiving a fine. And it goes on to say, I want the public to know that alcohol was not involved. What happened was an unexpected reaction to prescription medication. I didn't realize the mix of medications had affected me so strongly. Okay, so a lot of people are wondering, how in the world can this guy have 7 back surgeries from playing golf? All right, let's just, because a lot of people look at golf and are like, I don't know how it's not like football where you get hit by another guy. It's not like baseball where you're constantly moving a lot of times and you possibility of getting hit by something. Basketball where you're running up and down all the time. This is golf. 7 back surgeries, a torn Achilles. A lot of people have said that the reason he's had so many back surgeries or so many back problems is because of the amazing torque that he has when he swings the club. That's why he's able to get so much distance on the ball. That's why he's able to get so much power on the ball, because he has that incredible swing. But there have been times, if you've ever seen him in tournaments where, especially later on in his career, where he swings and all of a sudden he just goes to the ground because his back hurts so bad. So I want you to think about this for a minute. I remember this because I'm a huge wrestling fan. I cannot wait for WrestleMania. And I remember when Hulk Hogan passed away, and I wanted to bring this up because this was from when he passed, from Fox News Health. Hulk Hogan of WWE fame faced multiple health issues leading up to his death. The wrestler and pop culture icon endured 25 surgeries in the decade before his passing in 1971. This is the thing I highlighted here. This included 10 back surgeries, procedures on both shoulders, and knee and hip replacements on both sides. He had Hulk Hogan, or Terry Bollea, his real name is Terry Bollea. Hulk Hogan had 10 back surgeries. Now think about this for a moment. Hulk Hogan for years, in fact, for decades, I would say for at least 2 decades, his signature move was bouncing off the ropes, jumping in the air, and landing a leg drop on his opponent. He essentially was jumping in the air and landing on his butt. And he did that night after night after night after night for at least, I would say, 2 decades, 20 years. That can cause back issues. All right? That can cause back issues. We understand. He had 10 back surgeries, going back here. Tiger had 7 back surgeries from playing golf. Excuse me. And yet, at this point, and he's made millions of dollars. We can just close this out over here. I didn't realize that was there. He's made millions of dollars. Truthfully, Tiger doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to play golf again. He can, and I'm going to talk about this on the other side of this. He gets comfortably retired. The problem is that he loves the game of golf too much to give it up. He loves it too much to give it up. And that is the big issue. I'm going to close the OBS out and we'll talk about more about this on the other side of this. So this is becoming more and more of an issue. I mean, and you can't really blame Tiger too much, like I've been saying. He's in pain. He's had 7 back surgeries. You know, when you are in that much pain, all you want to do is not feel any pain. And so yes, he wasn't under the influence of alcohol. He blew 000s. But they knew, it was obvious, he was under the influence of something. And it's most likely that we're going to find out probably later this week that he was under the influence of some type of painkiller. And which is, again, this is a crazy dichotomy here. You don't want to be in pain, so you take the painkiller, and the painkiller is what makes you inebriated, under the influence, but you need the painkiller to not be in pain, but you can't. So sooner or later, someone's going to have to approach Tiger and go, look, dude, Johnny Manziel made a joke when he heard about it, and of course, we all know about Johnny Manziel's problems with, alcohol and substance abuse and everything else. And it looks like he's pretty much cleaned his act. But for Johnny Manziel to come out and say, hey, Tiger, have you ever heard of Waymo? Kind of a little bit of a low blow. I mean, he's in his 50s. He's got a certain amount of pride. He wants to be able to do things on his own, but sooner or later, it looks like someone's going to approach Tiger and say, you're not driving anymore. We're taking your keys away. We know you have an issue. We understand your issue, but you cannot be behind the wheel of a car. I mean, it came out over the weekend that the president doesn't want Tiger driving his grandchildren around. Gee, do you think? I don't think I'd want Tiger driving my grandkids around. I don't have any grandkids of yet, but you have to understand this. If you're impaired to drive, you can't be behind the wheel. I mean, it's just that simple. And so either Tiger's going to get himself a driver, or he's going to be forced to take Uber everywhere or something, because sooner or later, this has got to be fixed. I know I'm talking with my hands a lot here, but sooner or later, this has got to be fixed. This is the 3rd or 4th car he's wrecked. And I think this is the 2nd one he's done in a rollover. So, right. And he's in Florida right now. So what are the possibilities that he gets his license revoked? He gets his license suspended. He's forced to not be able to drive and have a driver. I mean, that's going to be a blow to his ego. But here is the other thing. And I think Tiger needs to look at this in a positive way. It'll give him the opportunity to heal, because being in the backseat of a car, being, having to get comfortable and maybe in a way work on something to get his back to heal, maybe that would be the best thing. It's also the possibility because, again, I talked about the reason his back is so bad is because of that amazing torque he gets on his swing. And so, but he has had 7 back surgeries. And so sooner or later, you've got to think, maybe, Tiger, maybe it's time for you to hang it up. Maybe it's time for you to retire. We know you love the game of golf. We know that you want to be out there competing. We know that's in you and in your blood. But sooner or later, everybody comes to a Jesus moment where it looks like, I can't do this anymore. I'm in too much pain. What are, yes, I love the game of golf and I want to continue playing it. But to what point does it become so detrimental that you just cannot either perform to the way you used to, or it causes so much pain that you begin to hate doing it? It's that hate-love relationship, with something. You love doing it, but it causes a problem to where you hate doing it. And I think Tiger is at a crossroads right now because sooner or later he's going to have to sit back and accept and listen to the advice people are trying to give him. It is a sad situation. I'm rooting for him. I'd like to see him succeed. But looking at this right now, and I didn't even know he had 7 back surgeries. I really didn't. I thought, I know he had the one. I knew he had 1 or 2. Didn't know he had 7. And like I said, every athlete comes to a point in time where it's like, I think it's time for me just to retire. You've made enough money, dude. You don't need to really, really keep competing. You don't really need to keep going out there except maybe 1 or 2 tournaments, the Masters and the Open and whatever, maybe the British Open, something where you make an appearance and, but I think at this point in time, you got to look at your health and you got to be mindful of the people who are trying to help you. That's all I got for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Goose. If you haven't already, go down, subscribe to the channel, bang that bell for notifications so you know when new videos are always uploaded. Give me a big like. Share this out to your friends, family, neighbors. Let them know what I'm doing over here. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this situation because I think it's, unless something is done, it's only going to get worse for Tiger. If you haven't already, check out some of the other channels we've been working on. Just go down to the description and hit those links down there. But until next time, which will be tomorrow, where I will talk about Chapel Roan and her situation, I am Goose. This is On With The Show. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the other side.